Hello everyone, my name is Maarten. I'm a computer scientist and I teach artificial intelligence here at Leiden University.
Maarten is officially a nerd.
Yes, I am. I was listed as one of the top nerds in the Netherlands and I'm quite proud of that.
And my name is Jan. When I grew up, the kids at school used to call me the computer. They meant to mock me, but I was really proud of the nickname.
And now he's a philosopher here at Leiden University.
That's true. I teach metaphysics and philosophy of mind, and every now and then I still like to think of myself as a computer.
And in this short video we want to explain a few things to you about artificial intelligence. Things to keep in mind when you hear about it in the news.
We will not be discussing any technical details here. You don't strictly need these to understand what artificial intelligence is or what it can do. Maarten, ready to go?
Yes, let's go. Let's go back in time to see how artificial intelligence started. The term artificial intelligence was first used by a group of academics that met in 1956 at Dartmouth College in the USA. And they came together to discuss a new approach to computing. The idea was actually quite simple. Instead of telling the computer exactly what to do step by step, they wanted to program rules into the machine. And by using these rules, the machine could figure out what to do for itself. This turned out to be quite simple to do, and soon computer programs could reason about simple problems that were described in rules. Think about logic puzzles or rule-based games such as tic-tac-toe or chess, or even to solve a Rubik's Cube as we see here. Today, this may seem simple to us, but at the time it really made people wonder whether or not machines could actually think for themselves. However, nowadays artificial intelligence is something completely different. Let's take a look at three things that have changed. 1. We have come to trust artificial intelligence. 2. Artificial intelligence is now learning things. And 3. Artificial intelligence has become an agent that is doing things. Jan will tell us a little more about trust.
Half a century ago, artificial intelligence was a big machine playing chess in the basement, where real intelligence was called for. No one then would have wanted to rely on a computer. Trust a computer to give you shopping advice or to suggest friends to you, that would have been so silly. AI today is so common we don't even notice it. It does its work in every household and business and in every moment you spend on your smartphone. AI is now something you keep in your pocket. Today we are doing the exact same things that were silly before, and we don't think twice about it. It's super convenient to get recommendations from Facebook or Spotify, or to let Google Maps decide on the best way to the museum. Why do we trust machines like this to make these decisions? Because in many ways they do a better job than we do. They are faster, they handle more information, and they are more objective. Take a simple example. Why do you trust Google to find information for your school assignment? 3 reasons I can think of. First, you probably don't want to drag yourself to the library. It takes too long. Google is faster. Second, there is a good chance you will not be able to find what you need anyway. Maybe the book you want is on loan. Google, however, has instant access to all the information you need. And third, maybe you'll find something that seems relevant but isn't. With the wrong information, you fail the assignment. Google, however, never gets hungry, never gets tired. In that sense, it's more objective. So we have good reasons for trusting AI, but there is also a downside. AI feeds on giant amounts of data, including the data each of us generates as we engage with the internet, watching, reading, clicking, liking, and so on. It is learning an awful lot about us. Information AI uses to serve us better, to make better decisions for us. But better by whose standards? Before taking up that question, let's hear more from Maarten about machine learning.
Now, rule-based artificial intelligence, as used in the old days, worked really well, but only on problems that required reasoning, such as tic-tac-toe. But to make computers more useful in the real world, they needed to recognize things. Things like cars or music or even dogs. And recognizing things is something that we humans do really well. If I would ask you to count how many of the following photographs contain a dog, that would be really easier for you. Let's try. So that was easy, right? Well, but how do you recognize a dog? Imagine that you were asked to write down the detailed steps of how you recognize a dog. Where would you start? And could these steps be programmed into a computer to make it recognize a dog? So, could your steps be programmed into a computer to make that computer recognize dogs? No. Computers need very specific and very detailed steps to be told what to do. And no written rules would ever be detailed and specific enough to describe all the possible ways that all the possible dogs could appear in a photograph. So, how can a computer be made to recognize things? Well, the answer is through machine learning. Machine learning enables a computer to learn to recognize patterns in things like text or photographs or sound. It learns the patterns by providing it with examples of, for example, photographs with dogs and photographs without dogs. And by asking the computer to tell these two apart, it learns what the pattern of a dog looks like. Once the computer has learned a pattern from data, it can recognize this pattern in new data. If it has learned the visual pattern of a dog, it will be able to recognize dogs in new photographs. Now, machine learning is a very powerful technique. It enables computers to do things that are traditionally very hard for them, or to do things that we can do, but to do it much faster than we can. However, there's a potential danger here. We have no way of telling the computer what to learn, other than by showing it examples. But what it exactly learns from these examples, we don't know. Even by studying the computer, we cannot tell what it has exactly learned from the data. For example, in 2015, Amazon used a computer to review thousands of job applications and to reject those that were not suitable. It learned this from information about employees who already worked for Amazon. However, after learning, the computer started rejecting every application that contained the word woman or women. Clearly, that was not intended. It was because more men than women currently work for Amazon, and so the machine learned to reject female applicants. So, artificial intelligence is now capable of learning very complex things. But what if it learns things that we don't understand? Or if it learns things that we don't like it to learn?
When it was playing tic-tac-toe in the basement, artificial intelligence didn't make much of a difference to people's lives. Now that it is in your pocket, however, it certainly does. AI has become an agent whose decisions make a difference to your life. That raises questions about the motives and morality of these agents. What are they up to? They make better decisions, but better by whose standards? Let's focus on a simple question. Do we understand the reasons behind the decisions made by the artificial agents? There are three possible answers to this question. First, in many cases, the answer is yes, I do understand the reasons, because they are my own reasons. When you use spell check in Word, for example, according to the dictionary that you selected yourself, that's AI doing precisely what you wanted to do for reasons that are your own. Secondly, there are cases like Google. Google's algorithm makes decisions about which information to show you based on your previous history on the internet. Most online services work that way. Spotify, Netflix, Facebook, their algorithms feed on the data we create while using the internet. That's how AI learns how to serve me better, which is a reason I am happy to endorse. But online services also have reasons of their own. These are often commercial, but they can also be political or ideological. Artificial intelligence can create so-called filter bubbles in which the information you get to see will nudge you toward a particular point of view. And these reasons are certainly not your own. To protect your privacy, online services are legally required to ask permission for placing cookies on your device. If you click accept, you officially endorse all of AI's other reasons as well. But do you even understand what you're saying yes to? You and I may not understand Google's reasons, but someone does. Google or other parties that use big data to influence people's behavior. AI makes it possible to learn things about us that we ourselves are not even aware of, and to exploit that information for purposes of their own. This is sometimes called surveillance capitalism, and it is something to worry about. Is this as far as artificial agency can go? No. There is also a third type of cases. AI may come to learn things about human behavior that no human can understand, and start exploiting that information for reasons of its own. Not yours, not Google's, but AI's. Is this pure science fiction, as in Terminator or The Matrix, or is it happening already? Can we afford to let it happen?
So why should we care about all this? About learning machines and artificial intelligence in general?
Because they are part of our daily lives. We have come to trust machines with making decisions for us, even if we don't understand all the implications.
There's a lot to think about. And the good news is, to understand why artificial intelligence is important, you don't need to be a philosopher like Jan.
Or a nerd like Maarten.
Here are some questions to get you started.
First, is Google really better than you at finding information for your school assignment? In which ways are you better than Google?
Or imagine that you want to use a computer to advise a profielkeuze for you and your classmates. Which data would this computer need to learn? Or which data do you use to make this choice? Would the computer's advice be reliable, and would you trust it?
And finally, when you accept cookies, you don't really understand what you're saying yes to. And most of us don't seem to care. So the data protection law doesn't really protect us here. Do you think that's okay? Can we do better?
Plenty of things to think about.
Absolutely. May the force be with you.